It seems like only a few months back that we tested an SML 8x8 MAN, but in fact it was way back in September 2016. How time flies. It's always great to catch up with Steve Murphy and his team, as he runs a very tidy fleet and has a great mix of brands. He and son Chris have some very clear ideas on the various makes they run, and, along with driver acceptance, this forms the basis for their purchasing decisions. The tracker we're here to test is fitted with a Palfinger Epsilon Q170 L80 enclosed cab self-loading crane and tows a 3-axle trailer designed light enough that the crane can load and unload itself. The Pirelli Trevor test starts in the Dalethorpe Forest, not far off the West Coast Road, out west of Sheffield, when Trevor climbs into the now loaded Iveco for the drive out. Getting up into the cab involves a reasonable stretch up to the first step, but that's to be expected as the tracker is a construction model truck, so it's built with additional ground clearance. After the first step, the next two are well spaced and have good depth and grip. Once inside, the cab is very clean and functional with a very good air suspension seat featuring 3-way adjustment, pneumatic lumbar support and inertia reel belt, and also seat heating. All controls are in immediate reach of the driver, and good seat and steering adjustment make it easy to set things up for a comfortable drive. Most commonly used controls are on the steering stalks with manual gear selection, engine brake and variable speed limiter on the right, and the windscreen wiper controls and lights on the left. Gear selection buttons are on the dash to the left with just a drive, neutral and reverse button. Right in front of the driver are the speedo and tacho, as well as a digital display that shows gear selection and engine brake functions and a full array of engine information. This cab is a day sleeper and there's ample room behind the seats. Not that driver Willie Riley sees himself using it too much, but it does give the cab a feeling of spaciousness. Despite a fair bit of recent rain, today's fine and the forestry roads look in great condition, so we see no problem with traction, which means we can keep the truck's transmission in auto and really try it out. As we lift off from the skid site, the 500 horsepower, 1700 pound-foot Cursor 13 engine picks up speed easily with only light throttle. The Utronic 2 AMT makes extremely smooth shifts both up and down the box as required. The throttle is nice and light without being overly sensitive as some throttles can be, which can lead to throttle bouncing on rough terrain. The drive out is over moderate gradient with only a minor descent, and we take this in 7th gear with the retarder holding us back well with revs climbing to just on 2000 RPM and no real need for much surface brakes. The tracker has the convex mirror above the larger flat mirror rather than the other way around, so he has to make a quick search to check the trailer positioning through the gateway. We're on a forestry road for the first part of the run, but the ride inside the cab is very smooth and quiet with conversation across the cab easy. Steering is very good with a light feel but very good feedback, and it's easy to position on the road. Later on, as we run down the main road back to Sheffield, Trevor lets the steering wheel sit loose in his hands and the truck runs straight with no need for constant steering correction. With its Palfinger self-loader crane, the Iveco has been set up as a very useful part of the SML fleet, picking up cleanouts from finished skid sites and from many farm lots where gangs may not have loadout machinery. Like today, it also picks up reject logs for firewood merchants in Christchurch, where again, it unloads itself. With the farm woodlot work, the tracker is regularly going to skid sites that may not be so well set up, so the additional ground clearance makes it ideally suited for this. And the more robust chassis construction is certainly an advantage when it comes to fitting the Palfinger crane. It makes it a very versatile unit that fits well in Steve Murphy's operation. With all this robustness, it's still a very comfortable truck to drive. Steve says that he gets very good driver acceptance with the Ivecos in his fleet, and we can see why.